Are you live?
We're live. We're live. We are live. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. I hope that you are getting up and getting ready. We're going to wake you up a little bit. We have no rights to this music, but we certainly going to groove to this music. Get ready.
You ready?
You ready?
All right. Little dog, I'm extra unique. My whole aura scream jealous. I've been listening to feel like Griselda and Morgan Wallen just to make sure I'm jealous. I'm from the way up. Half of my partners is savage.
Hey, my current favorite artist.
I'm a dog, I'm a beast, and your father figure. That little P365 was
Just a starter pistol.
She got a scorpion too, and I'll sting you just like a scorpion do. If a demon get gregarious, my little Harry don't do what accordions do. That means bold. I was told by the G's of old. Keep your lady close. Make sure she can work a pole.
But he wasn't talking about strippers.
I'm still walking with the clippers.
Hey, Miss Vivian. Come on. Come on. Hey.
The devil love me like the cherubim. She making clear the hoes that we ain't sharing them. I push the euthanasia like
She
the
making clear the hoes we ain't sharing them.
to bury them. Yeah. But that's how I been in the jungle. I grew up around wildlings and mongrels. Ready to slump it. Cause you a junkie. Yeah. I rock the stars to be humble. I told my baby girl she gon' have more in her head than just product and bundle. They say I'm rapping with hunger.
Come on.
I tell them hell no, I'm eating.
Come on.
If you book me for a show and I can't bring my wife and my babies, I'm leaving. Big Daddy energy speaking. I keep the enemy tweaking.
Hey.
I can go all on the track and they'll say I'm
The hardest one breathing.
I am a bigot for heathen. Me and my hood got cohesion. It's all me keep it 30 years. So they miss you when they know what's missing.
This old 5-5. If you black,
Come on, Miss Vivian. Get her dance on.
That's my side.
Throw it up and I'ma put it down until
This old 5-5. Gotta hear my girl back.
Hey.
Again, we do not own the rights to this music. We're enjoying it with you, but we don't own it. I introduced this to Sam Blackman yesterday, Saturday. He had never heard of Toby and Guige. Black in America.
Raising the slums, came from crumbs that we could with Erica.
I'm fucking Badu.
I don't know why you don't recognize, but we don't give and go to drive to school. I heard that's the only thing that
How you spelling Guige?
G-I-G-W-E. You have it already. In the description.
N-W-I-G.
Then what are you? No. N-W-I-G-W-E. What that mean? That's enough. Bah, bah, bah. That's enough.
Go bye. Hey.
That's my side. All right, let's go to work.
Hey.
Good morning to you. This is July 5th.
Yes, it is.
July 5th. And this is the 4th of July day observed. This is the day that the holiday is actually observed in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke a tradition yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Because every 4th of July since 2013, on that day, I have posted a video of either Danny Glover or James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman reading an excerpt from the Frederick Douglass 4th of July speech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you're just tuning in and you missed the interlude or you tuned in, you're like, what the heck? That was Toby M. Guige. And we celebrate with him daily, him and his little wife, Fat.
Yeah, we play him a lot. So I love it. He's my current favorite artist. But I forgot to do that yesterday. And today I'm going to do it though. But interestingly to me is because when Frederick Douglass gave that famous 4th of July speech, he actually gave it on July 5th, 1852, which is 169 years from now. And 169 years ago, not from now, ago. 169 years ago, he gave that speech. So today, after we greet these wonderful people, Vivian and Miss Phyllis and Sister Brittany, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Did y'all throw some meat on the grill? We're going to throw some meat on the grill today. We're going to kebab it up today, my wife and I.
So it was interesting to me. I saw, of course, we just recently celebrated that they have now acknowledged Juneteenth as a
national holiday. And in all honesty, Juneteenth is our 4th of July. If we're going to celebrate anything, we're going to celebrate Juneteenth. The 4th of July, to me, it's kind of bittersweet. We shouldn't have had to have either. What do you mean?
Independence.
Oh, we shouldn't have had to have a Juneteenth or 4th of July. But the 4th of July is the United States celebration from their independence from Britain.
I understand.
That's what it was for.
As their independence.
As their independence from Britain.
Theirs. Had nothing to do with us.
At the time that it was going on, the Frederick Douglass speech was 1852. In 1860, 8 years later, we still have 4 million legal slaves in this country. Okay. 4 million, well, 3.92, so I rounded up to 4. But in 1862 is when the Emancipation Proclamation, that's when Lincoln said, slavery is illegal in this country. But it was almost 3 years later, 2.5, almost 3 years later before. See, when Lincoln said slavery is illegal,
he didn't tell everybody and everybody didn't care.
Well, he told everybody, but some of them wouldn't do it unless they were enforced. They were made to stop slaving. Okay. So that means that they had to have troops go over there and free the slaves from individual plantations because the plantation owners, I know what you said, but I'm not doing it.
I'm good.
Jacked up. Just thinking about it, how jacked up is that? Oh, and it was 2 years, 2.5, 3 years later in Galveston, Texas, when the very last slaves got their freedom, and they had to send troops in there to do it. Okay, to free them from slavery. Galveston, Texas was the last stronghold. Everyone else knew. Now, the slaves heard word. We free. Are we free? Yeah, we supposed to be free.
Free, and what does that mean?
Yeah, are you sure?
Free to do what?
Yeah.
Free to go back to Africa? We don't know how.
We don't have the boats. You laugh to keep from crying.
I do. I do. It's because it is not. There's no equity in it.
No,
there's no equity
and no accountability either. They promised 40 acres and a mule as reparations for the slaves, but we never got the 40 acres. We never got the mule. Okay, that what was promised to them. As look, y'all been working for 300 years with no pay, so here's our back pay for you: 40 acres so you can farm on your own, and a mule to help you get started. But no, it never happened. And then after those 300 years, we had another almost 100 years of Jim Crow laws when Black people had no rights, basically. They couldn't own a gun. They couldn't accuse the police of anything. They couldn't take anybody in officials to court. They had no rights. And they couldn't vote. And when they were allowed to vote, they had things like poll taxes. That means you had to pay to vote, or literacy exams, which the average white person couldn't have passed. Okay, but they had all of these ways to keep you from voting. Voting in this country used to be done publicly. Okay, they used to be done publicly. That means you had one side over here with the Democratic line, the other side over there was the Republican line, and your bosses could see what line you got in, and they could threaten you because of it. Then they made it secret ballots. But anyway, I want to do something special today. Now, the Frederick Douglass speech is a long speech. So everyone that you see recorded, they do an excerpt from it. And I'm going to do an excerpt too. Shall we?
We shall.
Do you want to say anything before I get into it?
Nope. I want you to go.
Okay. And I'm going to do it in 2 parts. Now, when you get a call to speak at a church or a college or at a business, it's appropriate that you do what you call your giving honors. That's it, right?
Yes, you're giving honors.
Yeah. You know, you want to acknowledge the room. You want to show respect for the venue and the people that had
And the
you
leadership,
out there. And the leadership. You want to
And the
start off
elders.
because it's courteous and it's appropriate to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Frederick Douglass, you know, he's an escaped slave, and he did the same thing. He started off saying, and I'm gonna try to do it in what I imagine he sounded like. Okay.
Okay.
Fellow citizens, I am not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. They were great men, too, great enough to give frame to a great age. It does not often happen to a nation to raise at one time such a number of truly great men. The point from which I am compelled to view them as not certainly the most favorable, and yet I cannot contemplate their great deeds with less than admiration. They were statesmen, patriots, and heroes, and for the good they did and the principles they contended for, I will unite with you to honor their memory. Pretty good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Setting the stage, giving honor to the forefathers, the ones who authored the Declaration of Independence.
And then
he carried on. He said, fellow citizens, pardon me. Allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I or those I represent to do with your national independence?
that part.
Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? Would to God, both for your sakes and ours, that an affirmative answer could be truthfully returned to these questions, then my task would be light and my burden easy and delightful. For who is there so cold that a nation's sympathy could not warm him? Who so obdurate and dead to the claims of gratitude that would not thankfully acknowledge such priceless benefits? Who so stolid and selfish that would not give his voice to swell the hallelujahs of this nation's jubilee when the chains of servitude have been torn from his limbs? I am not that man. In a case like that, the dumb might eloquently speak and the lame man leap as in heart. But such is not the state of the case. I say it with a sad sense of disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, and prosperity and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought light and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice. I must mourn.
Exactly my point.
Did he pull any punches?
Nope.
Did he sugarcoat a thing?
Not at all.
He had something to say.
Absolutely.
And he said it.
Mm-hmm.
If he had done nothing else in his life but make that speech, that would have made him a great man. But he did more with his life.
Mm-hmm.
What a bold thing to do. An acknowledged escaped slave, while acknowledging that the slavery still goes on in this country. Wrote a newspaper and he became an orator, a statesman.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knew he was an escaped slave. And the rest of his life, if someone had snatched him up and dragged him back to Georgia, he could have been enslaved again.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's all crazy. And so as you commune together, as we have now,
we're gonna have a short show today.
As we have now want to do, we leverage these man-made holidays as a way to get together with friends and family. Take a moment to just reflect on what it took for us to get where we are and what you want to see manifest in the future so that you can decide what parts of that you want to be in.
Amen.
We love you. And today is going to be a very, very short show. We're glad you joined with us. We hope that you took a little extra time moving about today. We hope that you take some time to reflect and to recreate. And we will see you tomorrow back in business mode. See you then. Oh, and go have sex.
Peace.